As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome. But with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
It's been a long, bumpy ride sitting back in the saddle. It's time to get down, dirty up our knees into battle. Oh, come on, round up the boys, gonna make the walls rattle. Oh, our flag is tattered and our bones are shattered, but it doesn't matter 'cause we're moving forward. Round them up, let's go. Round them up, let's go. The blood we've shed. The only way I'm leaving is dead. That's the state of my head. They don't know where we've been. We got that concrete street skin. The only way I'm leaving is dead. That's the state of my head. That's the state of my head. We've been shot, beat up.
And welcome to Cyber Wars. This is, last time I checked, this is Lou. I don't know what the nickname is of the week is. I think the last thing somebody called me on Twitter started with a C and ended with the "you next Tuesday." And I have the, I have the director of Amish IT with me.
Evening! Yes, we've been quite busy. They've been trying to hack our barns and our quilt making facilities, and fortunately we are hardened up against it.
Yeah, I hear the COVID Fed police, like, didn't they raid your barn raising party or something?
Yeah, that was why I was absent all weekend. I was in jail. They raided our little barn gathering. We had too many people.
Yeah, and they figured the VP of Amish IT probably set the whole thing up on the internet. You did the Facebook invite. That's how they
That's where it all fell apart. I did a Facebook invite.
Right.
And you are currently Red Stick Cyber Dude. I had to check.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the Red Stick. Does anybody know? Okay, so chat room. This is the test to see if you're listening to me right now. Can anybody tell me what a red stick is? And Howie, you don't count because you asked me. And I told you.
So,
yeah.
what's been while we wait for the answer from chat, what's been going on with you?
I've been like writing the paper from hell. It was like, so my professor posted 2 different like instructions on it. One in week 5 and one in week 7. In week 5 it says minimum 15 pages, maximum 20. But in week 7 it says minimum 10 pages, maximum 15. So I wrote an 18-page paper, and I get to week 7 and I looked at it and I'm like, oh shit. Now what do I do? Do I like... So I just made all my screenshots a lot smaller. I doubt he can really even read them, but, you know. So that's how I got my paper down to like... I think I got it down to like 16 pages, which I figure, you know, he's not going to ding me for 1 page when it said... The original instructions said 15 to 20. So,
well, I mean, you know,
yeah.
If he's a computer instructor, he can figure out how to enhance the image. So you'll be fine.
Right, exactly. And he is a forensics expert. So yeah, he should be able to figure that out. Yeah. So that was my excitement for the day. I have a really good dumb thing I did story, but I'll save that for a little bit later. What you been doing this week?
You know, I spoke about it briefly on Foo Bars. We have a very narrow window here in the Sierras of California where it goes from winter to 100-degree summer. So I got the most of it and really overexerted myself outside all weekend. Felt great. Only touched the computer for a couple seconds. So no, I was not suspended. No, I was not in Twitmo. No, I was not kidnapped by the ice butterfly.
Ice butterfly is Yo-Yo. By the way, Yo-Yo Yang.
Yo-Yo Yang.
Yeah, you know that's what they call her. You know that's her nickname. If she was
not her face.
Well, her brother. If she was my sister, I'd call her Yo-Yo.
But so, according to the chat, the Baton Rouge seems to be the common answer to your what is a red stick.
No, a red stick was there were in the Creek Indian Nation there were 2 kind of what do you call them? 2 there was a split in the Creek Indian Nation. One side was very pro-government and made friends with the government and treaties. Of course, they got screwed with the treaties that they made. The other side fought the government every chance they got, and those were called red sticks. Red stick is a Creek Indian. I'm not going to do this Elizabeth Warren thing and talk about how much Indian I have, but I'll just say it's a lot. I have a whole hell of a lot more Indian blood in me than Elizabeth Warren does. It's not saying much.
So, 1 drop?
Yeah. I have 1/932nd. No, actually it's a lot more than that. But anyway, that's what a red stick is. That's why I'm Red Stick Cyber Dude. And it's kind of almost as much of a joke as an Amish cyber dude because, you know, Red Stick Indians didn't have the internet any more than the Amish do. So,
right.
Anyway, so you all failed the test and...
Well, no, technically they were right because Baton Rouge is red stick in French. So...
Well, that's true. You were right, but you weren't right.
Right.
That's true. Yeah. You were all right. But,
however, you were wrong.
However,
in this
you were
specific
wrong.
Instance,
you were right. Wrong. You were right and wrong at the same time. So now you can all be liberals.
You were Schrodinger's chat.
You are. You are Schrodinger's chat. So, So
What do you want to
yeah,
start with this week?
I want to start with the stupid thing that I did. Because I want to get it out of the
Okay.
way. I want to get it out
What
of the
did
way.
you do? What?
So,
This is a
okay.
no dumb zone. How did you dumb?
I dumbed by, okay, so I'm setting up my printer again. I moved it. It was upstairs. I've changed my router and my network setup again. My printer was upstairs. I moved it downstairs. So I'm setting it up. I logged it into the network. And I go to my computer to set it up, change the password again because it is on the internet of shit. Change the password, right? Because I did a factory reset on it, so it went back to the default password. So I had to change the email on it so it doesn't get hacked and used in a botnet. So I went into my computer to do all that, and it won't connect. It keeps saying, we can't find it. I can't get this information. I can't find this printer. And I'm like, for hours, what, why it's there. It's turned on. It's connected to the internet.
It's physically there. I'm looking right at it.
Physically there. I can see, I can look at, so I can pull up my router interface, my admin interface for my router. I see that it's on my router. It has been given an internal IP address. It's there. The router recognizes it. It gave it an address. The MAC address is right. I'm like, what the hell? Well,
did you have caps lock on? You had caps lock on, didn't you?
No, I had it on the wrong network. So basically my computer is connected to one SSID,
Sure.
My printer is logged into a different SSID. So they couldn't actually talk to each other. And the SSID that I had logged it into is isolated. So it wasn't actually broadcasting over my wireless, so my iPhone couldn't see it. It wasn't set up correctly as an air printer because I had it on the wrong. So it wouldn't air
does this
print.
mean that we can no longer advertise the show as Kim Commando for people who are smart enough to hook up their own printer?
No, because I figured it out.
Okay.
And I hooked up I can hook up a printer just fine. This is I just logged it into the wrong network.
And
you
know what?
The reason that I did it was really lazy because the password on that network was easier.
Password?
Uh-huh. It was easier than the other one, and so
it's okay. You know what? I can totally relate to that because I was hooking up a new light bulb in the kitchen for my smart home, and I put it on the wrong network too. I'm so used to putting to, when I'm working on a client's computer, I'll put it on 5G because usually I have to download a whole bunch of Windows updates before I can even start fixing their computer. So I just got into the mode of defaulting to 5G, and my Alexa is not on the 5G network. It's on the standard 2.4 gigahertz network. So yes, I did the same thing. I spent about an hour trying to figure out why this goddamn light bulb wouldn't talk to the app, and because I was connecting it through the wrong network. So exactly. I can relate.
Exactly. I mean, it's not it's a really easy thing to do. It's all the same router. I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't even think about it. I was just I'm going to log it in here because this password is easier.
Sure.
And then 2 hours later, I was okay, I'll set up my printer. And so, because I had done it 2 or 3 hours before, I didn't even think about, shit, I logged it into the wrong damn network. And I was all of a sudden, when I went, so as I troubleshot everything that I could think of to troubleshoot on my computer, I was wait a minute, let's see if my phone sees it. And when my phone didn't see it, that's when it clicked. I'm it's not air printing at all. It's not broadcasting because I'm a dumbass.
Did you get the newest drivers?
Yeah, in the process, yes, I made sure
I
checked the drivers in the process.
Well, while we were talking about that, I remembered the topic that we forgot that we were going to do tonight, but we didn't discuss in show prep.
Okay,
And
let's
that's
do
the
it.
IPs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You
Right
wanted
before
to talk about
See, I knew
class
there was
full
another
IPs.
one. I knew there was another one. I said, "What was the other one?" And neither one of us could remember what the other one was. And
Right.
but I have an excuse because I've had a migraine all day and I'm over medicated. So I don't know what your excuse is, but that's my excuse. So
I'm
it should.
Amish.
That's a perfect excuse. I love it. I wish I could use it. I can't.
But you wanted to break down because we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
We've talked about it. We've talked
the
about
number
it. Yeah, we've talked about it several times on the show, and we have yet to get it right because I have not taken the Network Plus test yet. I don't have that certification yet. I plan to one day, but
And I was just spitballing off the top of my head based off of number sequences.
But you got it. You got closer than anybody did. But we were talking about A level. We got close to. We were talking about A level, and we actually got really close to the B level. So the just a primer for IP addresses, and I know that like everyone listening to this show is dying to know this information. But the reason that we're going through it is because we talk about it sometime, and we talked about it a couple of times in regards to North Korea because they, some hackers somewhere, America probably, took down their entire internet because they have one Class A
Class
A level, top level IP address. And what that means is that everybody knows that an IP address is a bit dot bit dot bit dot bit, or it's
to use your router's IP address. Everybody's router has the same one. Internally on this side of your modem is 192.168.1.1 or .0.1. So it's a series. It's 4 3 octets.
Yes, exactly, and because everybody knows what an octet is, but it's 4 sets of numbers with dots between them, and we won't go into it. Gets really complicated as to what each level means, but Class A, B, and C, basically the first number. So the first number is assigned, and then in a Class A, the first number is assigned, and then the second, third, and fourth number, you have all of them 0 to 255. You own them if you are assigned a Class A IP address.
Right. A Class A basically works out to, with all of the possible permutations of numbers, except for the ones that are specifically reserved. Like you can't have all zeros or all ones inside of it. But it breaks down to 16,300,000 some odd.
16,277,214.
Right.
And
so that's how many IP addresses are under a top level one. So for North Korea to have one, that means, and they're probably not using most of them. That means they only have 16 million Class B.
And they have
IP.
And they have 25 million people. And
right.
they also have companies that probably have, half of a range of Class B, which means that the first 2 numbers are assigned, and you have all of the numbers for the third and fourth octet available to you. That is 65,534. So let's say they have 5 companies that have a Class B assigned to them. Well, let's just say the government probably, well, the government owns all of them because it's North Korea, right? There's 25 million people. They have 16 million IPs. They have companies that have, 60, 65,000, 130,000, 30,000 IPs, all their own, right? And the military's probably using 1 million.
Using most of them, yeah.
Yeah, using a lot of them, and they're very tightly controlled. There's not a lot of average people, if any, using the internet at all in North Korea. Now, but what?
Yeah, your Class B is generally what an ISP, depending upon its size, will have several of them. So I used to work for an ISP. We only had a Class C, which is 254 IP addresses, which was way too much for us because we only had a dozen modems. But this was back in the cloud handshake.
Back when there were small local IPs, ISPs, and that and the technology was different. That was back in the day. Yeah. I have Spectrum, Comcast, Spectrum Charter, which merged, and also merged with Time Warner, and they own probably half of the internet in the country, and they probably have they probably have a couple of thousand Class A's, right? So
right,
but it's it's a different day and time.
Yeah, 1,000 Class A's would be half of all the users in the country. So I can guarantee you they overbought.
Yeah, probably. But that but
hey, what's great is Chad is digging this conversation because they're all posting graphical representations of what we're talking about in the chat. So thanks, guys. Thanks for keeping up with us here.
Yeah,
especially Ron. Yeah, Ron's got it covered in there.
Yes, that's the other thing. So when you get each class has a set of numbers that they're assigned to. So for Class A, it's going to be like one. Ron's got it right there, 1 to 127. So you can kind of tell if you have you hit an IP and it's 68 dot whatever. That's coming off of a Class A IP.
Right.
So that's that's the other thing. That's they're assigned different sets of numbers, different ranges of numbers belong to each class, and that's a whole nother level of conversation that we weren't going to get into. But we're glad that you're educating each other in the chat. We love you for doing that. So. But so we got into it because of the conversation around South Korea. They have a single Class A IP.
North Korea.
Oh, sorry, North Korea. Yeah, big difference there. North Korea.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. One single Class A IP range, and therefore, what that meant to the hackers that were going after it is that they could hit it and bring the whole friggin' thing down, right? So you hit that top level. 40. Okay, we lost Orty. Orty, you back?
Hey, I'm back. They're saying they got no audio in chat.
Hello? They got it.
Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, they
hear me.
They can hear us now. So,
okay.
And this pretty much happens, when we're talking about China and North Korea. So it's probably going to happen again. It's going to happen again in the second part of the show. They don't like us.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't like them either. So
yeah, well, every time we talked about it, it's always been a joke to me. But now that it happens with such regularity, and we have done every fits on our end, all of us have crawled up our own asses on our networks to see Make sure it isn't us. So, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna give me like 1 second because I can do something that sometimes helps. Right. That sometimes it helps. Hopefully it will. Um,
I felt like Girl from Ipanema should be playing.
I know, right? Yeah. No kidding. If I could make that happen, I would. So, yeah. So those are that.
Before we
Go ahead.
was that? Well, I was just gonna say you wanted to hit that one thing before we go to break, the Zoom that doesn't suck, or did you have some more thoughts about IP?
No, I definitely do. So, we have last week's show we didn't do because I was in the middle of a big research project for a paper for school. It's my final project for this semester, and what I chose to do because partly because of you guys, because I talk a lot of shit about Zoom that's well deserved. If you keep up with the CNET articles that I've tweeted a few times and that we've shared in the chat, Orty, if you can share that with them, because we don't have time to really go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No problem.
if you've got it handy. But keep up.
I
With
do.
That, yeah, keep up with that article because that her name is Hodge and she has a timeline going that's just from March of all the problems with Zoom, and they are many. So Brad Slager actually, Brad Slager actually was the first one to point out the. All right. I think we're definitely back for good this time. Orty, are you still with me? Orty, you still with me?
Okay, rebooted my headset. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So,
I rebooted my headset.
Yeah, because of all the wonderful shenanigans with and one thing that I've taught myself in the past week is how to fix these kind of technical errors on the fly without ending and restarting a broadcast. So,
Okay.
So I'm really proud of myself for that. So we're gonna skip the break. Hopefully, yeah, Mike says China doesn't want me talking about them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so just to say that I did a pretty thorough check of a lot of things with life size, and I am I'm not really the kind of security expert that you should listen to say that this is absolutely like a secure solution that is never going to get owned and never have an exploit and that you never have to worry about. But when you compare it to Zoom, it is so much more secure than Zoom. It's fantastic. I was really impressed with the encryption. It's end-to-end encryption, encrypted in the broadcast and in the storage. It's cloud storage. It doesn't put stuff on, it doesn't save audio or video on your computer so that...
It doesn't save it on a single host computer either.
Right.
It's kind of Zoom is just now putting 256-bit encryption in next or later this week. You think that would have been something they would have thought of first?
They claim to have it. That's the thing. They claim
to have it, but now they're just putting it in?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the one thing, I was looking at the ad copy on Life Size, and I noticed 4K video conferencing. Is that really something you want right now with everybody staying at home and not being able to go to their barber, their stylist, or do you really want 4K?
You can join
video?
without a camera.
I know. I'm just saying, but you can join without a camera. But I mean, to have 4K video conferencing, why would that? Doesn't seem like that. Any other time that would be a selling feature. Not right now.
Right, exactly. But I will tell you this: that they started and were back in they were founded in 2003, and they kind of came out of their incubator and launched their product in 2005. But they started as a solution. The technology was delivering high definition video over 1 megabit technology or bandwidth. So they deliver really high quality video with really low bandwidth. So that's a really good thing. I have had conversations over it where one of us was using the phone app, and there was no Wi-Fi connection, and it got a little choppy in places.
Oh, you're just using cell data?
Yeah, it was cell data, so it was a little bit choppy in places, but I think that was her cell connection more than anything. But so it's a really great solution. They need to do some user experience improvements to really compete with Zoom in their broad market, but their enterprise solutions are well beyond. I mean, they're very competitive with Zoom and what Zoom offers, and they're I would say.
Well, yeah, I notice what they're doing right now is they're capitalizing on all of Zoom's problems, and they're offering 6 months free if you have a current Zoom account.
Yeah, wasn't that fabulous? I love that.
Yeah. That's like, hey, we know that you tried this other company and you really, don't want to have kid porn posted on your church conference. So, how about checking us out?
Right. So really,
because if you look at some of the Zoom bombings, oh man.
Yeah, they're bad. Ooh, they're really
bad.
And people are still using it, and it's so stupid. Like I see,
England's Parliament is still using it.
Information security people are still using it. I saw a chief information security officer for a large company posting about his Zoom meeting today. I was like, You are fucking nuts. You
should be fired.
You should be fired, and I liked you, but you have no more credibility with me. I'll never listen to you again.
Yeah.
And
because you can't use your own security.
Right.
I mean, one of the big holes in Zoom was they were counting on, enterprise firewalls to protect the conversations. That's great when you're inside that firewall, but once, the world isn't doing that right now.
Right, exactly. And that's the other thing about life size is it operates inside the NAT firewall on your router or anywhere else. So it conforms to your NAT firewall wherever you are. So that's the other thing. But the most important thing is it was born, raised, and made in America. It is an Austin, Texas company. Zoom is Chinese. So
there's nothing more to say there.
Nothing more to say there. Bring it back home, people. Life size.
So if you're using Zoom for your business or your church meetings or your classes, really suggest life size.
Yeah, absolutely. I would highly recommend it at this point, just from the, I was doing a forensic study of it, but that also required some security study of it too. And, that, I was really impressed with that internet conferencing, video conferencing, applications are known for being not that secure. I was impressed with Life Size and what they've done from the very beginning to secure their product and be secure. And that's enough about that. Check them out. It's not it's not as quote unquote fun as Zoom yet, but if they're really looking at competing with that market, it will be, and they'll fix some of those user experience things, and you'll
Yeah, no, I mean, I talked about this last week on a regular Foo Bar. If there's one thing that some of these companies really need to figure out, it's their UX. Disney Plus has got the worst fucking UX I have ever seen for a streaming service. So, I mean, it's just not intuitive. It's I got to go down 4 pages to find the last thing I watch. So, yeah, LiveSite, they have some QOL improvements they need to work on.
Yeah.
But, and if you ever wonder what we mean when we say QOL, it's quality of life. It's, the little things that, make the app more usable.
Yeah.
It's when users take over from engineers. So
yeah, that used to be my thing when I was at certain jobs that I did. I was that liaison person between the users and the engineers, and the engineers just don't get the whole user experience, and they have no idea what it's like to be a user. And so anyway, we won't get it. We won't get in it. I'm about to get off on a tangent, but yeah, there's some things that they need to do. But the product is engineered very well. It's relatively, for this kind of product, very secure. I have some questions about some things that they do. WebRTC, I don't know so much, but they say that it's the right way to do it, and they secure it well. So I'm going to trust them on that, because in their entire history since 2005, there has been one exploit of this product where Zoom is already, in half the time, already at 4 or 5. So,
100.
Well, yeah, I mean, these are the ones that have actually been given a CVE designation. So, all right, let's get to China.
China?
Yeah. So we can see if my internet goes down again. Talking about China. So,
where do you want to start? You want to start with fishing?
Yeah, you do. You start with fishing. You do the fishing thing because you're the fishing master.
I am the masturbator, as you say. So, okay. we have been talking about it a lot, and that is the COVID-19 phishing. Well, there's still their new target on email phishing, and this is coming from our old favorite. You're going to be hearing us talk about it a lot tonight. One of our old favorites, APT 41. They have started a new phishing campaign looking for Skype and Zoom users, where you will receive an email from your HR department saying that giving you a reminder for your Skype or Zoom video conference to discuss your termination. And so you click on that, and it's getting your username straight out of your own saved passwords for logging into Skype or Zoom, and then it's just monitoring your keystroke for passwords. So, and then nothing happens. If you ever go to a website that asks you to log in and nothing happens when you do that, you just got phished.
Yeah.
So change your password. But so yeah, and that's their new target, is a broad-based phishing attack in using the fear of termination due to that which shall not be named, COVID.
Are we Voldemorting COVID?
Yeah, we're Voldemort. No, I've talked about it on a couple other shows. It's something I'm noticing a lot of YouTubers and streamers doing now. They just don't say it. Yeah, it's like the Quartering and Nerdrotic and a few other shows. They're just not saying the word anymore. So yeah, the COVID's been Voldemorted.
Okay, that's fine. I'll hat tip JD for this. I've started calling it the itis.
The itis. I call it the Rona.
Yeah, Rona-itis.
R-O-N-A, Rona.
Yeah. So
Rona.
yeah, so this is the latest one. HR
Yeah.
is not going to ask you to Skype with them about your termination or to
Right.
Zoom with them about your termination. So I don't
Yeah, you're
care.
gonna get a nice letter with a Jelly of the Month Club subscription, and
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. And
that's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
exactly. So now here's the other thing that has emerged. And this is something else that we've talked about. And we talked about particularly a few weeks ago them doing it to some uh, healthcare companies and healthcare research companies in the UK. But this Saturday, the White House, the Trump administration, and Health and Human Services, the State Department, and several other several three-letter agencies were talking about and issuing press releases and statements on the very prolific hacking by some really sophisticated groups of Health and Human Services, of the National Institute of Health, of pharmaceutical companies that are working on the itis treatments and possible vaccines and testing. You know, some that are working on testing solutions and creating tests and things like that. And one official would go as far as saying there are only two groups in the world that could pull off the hacking attempts that have been taking place recently of these organizations. Well, we know who those two are because we talk about them on this show all the time. It would be Russia or China. Eventually, the administration, Mike Pompeo to be exact, just came right out and said, and I think this was last Thursday, came right out and said, yeah, it's China.
Yeah, when he said it, it reminded me of that tweet from a reporter who was digging into, I can't remember if it was Trump or Jr. He said, I've been working on this story for a year, and he just tweeted it. It's kind of, when Mike Pompeo did that, I said, well, he just said it. There you go.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, you know, it's the diplomatic thing to do, to not necessarily always say exactly what's going on, right? And the state that's
Well, you don't want to tip your hand in an investigation, too. You don't want to say, well, we think it's China, and then they shut down, and then you're not sure. And then they open those avenues again later.
Right, and that's something that really doesn't happen with cyber attacks, because they're like, yeah, so what? You know, it's us. We're gonna keep hacking because
we're still coming to get you.
Yeah, we're still coming at you because we'll exfiltrate the information anyway, and we don't give a damn if you know it's us, right? Because then we got your shit at that point, so who cares?
Yeah, and this goes with the U.S. Cyber Command. We've talked about it a few times too, about how they're using forward defensive tactics where they're making it, not that, kind of saying you really don't want to do that. Kind of, we're hacking you back as and we see you, kind of thing. We're not being proactive, even though we are. The NSA and U.S. Cyber Command have had a very forward defensive posture against China and Russia, Iran, and the Norks.
which has, and this is like, I mean, anybody that's known me for a while knows that I started out very much not someone who supported Trump. I mean, I would probably characterize myself as someone who pretty much didn't despise him, but despised the fact that he was running for president for a very long time. I was only happy that he won because that meant that Hillary didn't. But still could not really embrace his presidency until he started doing certain things.
With the cyber.
Not just with cyber, but cyber was a big part of it. He changed the way that we approach it, where, it was very, very much our cyber law enforcement was very much about finding kids in the basement DDoSing, or things like hacktivist kind of things, like the defense contractors and stuff like that. He very much switched it to targeting state actors that are going after state secrets and intellectual property and things like that. And that's something that, really kind of switched me to a not part of the cult, but somebody that supports his presidential actions.
You're right. I mean, I'm the same. And, one of the things is with this forward defensive posture that we are taking now, it's actually helped form the Cyber Threat Intelligence League, the CTIL, CTI League, which is 1,400 very well respected and vetted cybersecurity professionals from around the world. Mm-hmm. And their comment about what's going on with the NIH and everything else is that they're trying to steal everything.
They are trying. Yes.
China and Iran are hitting everything they can,
and
trying to steal anything they can get.
Right, exactly. And so, if you look at what happened with the CPP virus, from the difference between Iran and because it initially was very much centered not just in China but also Iran, and Iran was the first country other than China to have really a huge outbreak from it, right? And some of their high level leaders were like really early caught it, and they could not do anything with it. They couldn't get the testing right. They couldn't get the treatment right. They couldn't do shit.
But they got that device that can detect the virus at 200 meters in any direction.
Right, sure they do. And and even in Europe, right, with all of their socialist healthcare, they couldn't do much with it. And it wasn't until it made it here, right, and God with his wicked sense of humor, it wasn't until it made it here that science actually really started making inroads into fighting this thing. And,
sure.
And that's why, in so many other countries, their death rates are so much higher than ours. Well, so it's no wonder, to take this back to the cyber part of it, it's no wonder they want to steal what we know, because they know we know 100 times more than they ever knew, even though they had it 3 or 4 months before we did. Right, so you've been working on it 3 months longer than we have, but you still don't know shit. So you have to try to steal it from us, right? And even knowing that, we'll share it with them, right? We're not hiding it from anybody. We'll share it with you, but that's not enough. Well, I think one thing they're probably looking for is what we know about where it came from. Don't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would make more sense, because it's like, I mean, who led the world in the polio vaccine? Who led the world in the smallpox eradication project? So it's kind of like, obviously this is going to get shared. It's not like going to be one of those things that's like, oh, we want to patent this for our pharmaceuticals. I mean, well, all of our pharmaceuticals are made in China anyway. It's not like they wouldn't steal that. So, yeah, it sounds like they're actually trying to figure out what we know more than, what we know about it. What we know of its origins, rather than what we know about them.
more than what we know
Right.
about the disease, because we know that for the most part they don't care about their people. They could,
Right.
I mean, they could pretty much, they care about their economy, but they don't care about their people. Their people could die, they wouldn't give a shit, right? But yes, I think they want to know what we know about them more than what we know about the disease or the treatment. But this is what struck me. So I start reading this article and I get to this part and I'm like, oh wow, is there the uptick in activity, right? So they're talking about China, Russia, Iran, and Korea.
I know
Four,
you got to watch out for those North Carolinians too. They're a
yeah,
shifty bunch.
they're actually really smart technology wise. I'm telling you. So anyway, but I do that a lot, where because I'm gonna say kakalaki, but North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran. And there's been enough of an uptick, a significant uptick in activity from those four countries. And we're talking about four countries that hit us constantly.
Hourly, by minute.
Yeah.
I mean, we've shown you guys
Constantly.
the FireEye map and the NordVat map. You know, when you're watching cyber attacks move across the globe, and it's hypnotic on how often we're hit and how often we hit out.
Yeah, and it also says criminal groups, and I mean, you know, we've heard about that too, and we've also talked about Chinese APTs that are state-sponsored actors by day and cyber criminals by night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that I saw today, and I don't have this article. I didn't send you these articles, and most of them were Reddit threads, right? The Reddit threads about gamers running afoul with Chinese hackers are absolutely lit right now, and have been since about mid-March. So
Because everybody's home. Even the Chinese hackers are home.
oh, true. Yeah, true, I guess. But I just found it really interesting that um, there's like an uptick in the gaming hacking as well.
Sure.
You've talked about how that's actually, a way to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's the legitimate way of just generating gold that you buy, and then there's the theft of gold. But yeah, so I mean, with everybody home, with everybody gaming, it's the same thing like with everybody working from home. You are creating more and more threats to your environment. And with these Chinese hackers at home, so they don't have their day job, they just have their night job, they're going to go after the gamers because the gamers are the ones. Gamers generally have a level of disposable income, especially in games that have loot boxes or, microtransactions that you have an in-game store that you spend real cash at. Those are the ones that are actually pretty lucrative to go after. There's very few people are playing. They're free to play games, but they have that hook in it. It's like, oh, if you spend $10, you get these widgets that you can purchase this hat with it. Well, I like that hat, so I'm going to spend the $10. That's how they get you. Anyway, so yeah, you're going to see that uptick there. Speaking of, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about fishing before we head out of here. There's a new fishing one. We just saw this just before we came on, where because so many people are getting shipments at home, the phishing scams are impersonating FedEx, DHL, and UPS, saying that your package is being held up because of coronavirus restrictions or whatever. Please update the information in it, and then as soon as you click it, you install some malware that's lost it where it's the actual name of it.
Yeah, it's probably macro, like we've talked about so many times. It's VBA, macro.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
You gotta. I mean, it's in a zip file. It looks like a legitimate email from FedEx and UPS and everything else. And yeah, this one was actually discovered by Kaspersky
the
antivirus.
Russian. Yeah, the
Russians found this one. So yeah. So, but yeah, so that's, keep an eye out for it. If you get an email from UPS or FedEx or DHL and you didn't actually order anything, that's a scam.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if you did order something, I've never gotten an email saying you need to update the information.
No, and I order stuff all the time. Amazon.
Yeah,
since the quarantine, Amazon is my best friend.
When I lost you over Discord, I went ahead and bought some socks. So,
were they K11 socks?
Yes, they are. No, just socks. Whatever I had ordered in the past, reorder.
I think those are really cool, and now that Boomer Esiason is selling them, I'm definitely going to buy some.
You're going to make me go look up K11 socks, aren't you?
K11, yeah.
God damn it, Lou.
Well, they're by size. They're like, it's not like 9 to 11 or 9 to 12. It's like actually size 9, size 10. So they fit.
Okay.
And Boomer wears them.
Yeah, it's weird. As I put that in, and Duluth Trading Company came up immediately. That's odd. There we are. K11 socks. All right. Yeah, well, it's got a picture of a cute golden retriever on the
there you go.
homepage, so there you have it.
You must buy. Okay, and
I gotta buy it.
And now they need to pay us for pitching the
Right.
product. All right, so
Right.
I think we are out of here. Just remember, China is trying to steal everything, including all your shit. Don't click.
Don't click it. Links are spoofy.
Don't click it. All right, so I'm producing all over the place. I think I produce something every night.
Yeah. You get this Wednesday off though.
Do I?
No, you got red wine.
No, I don't get this Wednesday off. But I'm on Friday night with the girls, Aggie and Auntie Vodka. And usually we're pretty funny, or at least we think we are. I don't know what you guys think, but usually...
No, it's a fun show. I like it.
Orty likes it. There you go. Yeah. And where are you at?
Orty likes it. Yeah, this week Wednesday is Toxic Masculinity with Rick and G, and then I assume I'm still filling in for Dan on Robinson and Wright, so I'll be there Wednesday night, twofer. Thursday I am off this week, and Friday I'm on with Juxtaposition on No Politics Friday.
And I think that you're coming out of hiding, and you'll be on Twitter at Orty.
I've been on Twitter a little bit today.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yay, he's out of hiding. All right, so...
It got hot. Plus,
right.
I had to work on a laptop today, so I had the time.
Gotcha. So, we are very glad you joined us. Sorry for the, silence in the middle, but at least you didn't have to listen to that same old commercials over and over
And
again.
I bought some socks, so it was all good.
And Orty bought socks. So, thanks for hanging in there with us. We love you guys, and we will see you next week.
No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah, there you are. Thanks. Have a good one. Good night.
But there's no doubt, get out from the